Hi, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I am working with DNVGL. Today I am going to talk about a very interesting and relevant topic of the time, that is customer complaint management. Sam Walton has said that there is only one person who is most important, and that is customer. And it is the person who can fire anyone in the organization, from managing director to anyone, by just shifting the business to another customer. So that is the power of customer. If you talk about good old days, it used to be said that customer is God. But with recent times, you will see that it has changed to customer is king. So God can be benevolent, but king is not. So it's very important that if an organization is not taking care of the customer, it's very easy for the customer to shift the business from one place to another. It's very pertinent for the organization to ensure that the customer complaint management process should be very effective so that customer can remain happy and contented with this entire process. If we talk about ISO 9001 as well as IATF 16949, in clause number 10.2, there is a detailed information how to deal with customer complaint process. And there is a separate standard, that is 10,002 2018, which specifically deals with customer complaint management process. Apart from that, there are many IETF subscribing OEMs who have got specific requirements with respect to how to deal with customer complaint. Like one very common and very popular format throughout the world is 8D format, which is started by Ford. So many of the companies are using that particular format to do that. So let me talk about the different steps which are specified as per ISO 9001, IATF 16949 as well as 10,002. So the first step is acknowledging the complaint. So it means whenever you receive a complaint, it's very important to acknowledge back to the customer that yes, you have received the complaint and you have started working on that. The second important step is to track the complaints, to see that when the complaint has come and what is the status at the moment and when it got closed. So the tracking is very, very important. The third important step is communication. So it is important to communicate with the customer at regular stages, starting from the beginning till the end, so that customer is always aware that yes, actually organization is working on it and taking action on that. The fourth one is with respect to analysis of the complaint. Now this part is very important because in this part, depending upon the severity of the complaint, depending upon how much it is going to impact the organization can decide what kind of actions they need to take. And the first step in this is the interim action, correction or containment action. So during that stage, organization has to see that how they have to minimize the losses. And while doing that, they have to see that what kind of impact that particular complaint is having on different processes. Like it can impact the purchase process or the material which is coming from the supplier, the material being produced at the moment in the organization, maybe the finished product which is kept in the warehouses, material in the transit, or the material which is already there at the customer end. So as a part of containment and correction, there could be a possibility that organization has to do some segregation or reworking at the customer end also, either by themselves or by using a third party, depending on the situation. And then once the immediate correction has been done, then organization has to do a deep root cause analysis. And then there are different techniques to deal with that. That is called 5Y analysis, YY analysis, YYY analysis, fishbone diagram, and so many techniques are there. Either the organization decides on their own, or maybe it depends upon the customer in case they have a specific process to do that. So based on the risk analysis, organization can decide what action needs to be taken. Now, it's very important to understand that while doing that, organization has to define some responsibility and authority, that whenever a complaint will come, who will deal with the complaint, who will talk to the customer, who will be a single point of contact, and whether that person has been authorized to take any actions or not. So responsibility and authority is very important. Then second step is, based on the criticality of the complaint, based on the type of complaint, organization has to decide that what kind of different processes should be involved in this particular thing. So a cross-functional team has to be set up from people from different processes like purchase, design, production, quality, stores, depending on the complaint, so that they can work together and identify the root cause of the problem. Once the organization identifies the root cause analysis, then they have to go for the corrective action plan. Many times it happens that organization could not find the root cause of the problem. At times, They need to escalate that problem to the top management and if needed to the customer also. So once the corrective action is being taken, organization has to ensure that whatever corrective actions they are taking, that should commensurate with the criticality of the problem, and they have to ensure that similar kind of problem should not repeat again, as well as the horizontal deployment also needs to be done. When I say horizontal deployment, the intent is that the similar kind of problem can occur in some other product line or other processes also. So rather than waiting that problem can come again there and then they will take action, organizations see that what action they are taking as of now with respect to that. Then next step with respect to this is to see that what is the effectiveness of the action plan. So depending upon the agreement with the customer, it can be number of lots or maybe a time duration, maybe 3 months, 6 months. Organization will review and monitor the effectiveness of the action plans. And once it is stabilized, then organization can close that customer complaint. In many companies, this is one of the key KPI, that how much time it has taken from problem starting and when the problem is ending. Then next step, which is important, is communicating to the customer about the actions that organization has taken and whether customer is satisfied with the actions that organization has taken with respect to how they are handling the complaint, how they are communicating with the customer, and how they are ensuring that customer interests are being taken care during this entire process of customer complaint process. Then internally, organization has to do one more thing, that is analysis of data. So they have to see that, say, maybe in 3 months, 6 months or a year, how many complaints have come, which are the repeated complaints, which are the complaints which have impacted the organization hugely, which are just one-off complaint, so that organization can decide some long-term actions to deal with all such cases. Then the next step is about effectiveness of these actions. So that can be verified through internal audits. So it's a process wherein the organization will see that whatever actions that have been taken, whether they are still effective, whether people are aware about it. So for example, it generally happens that the people who are making the action plan, they are aware about it. But if you go down the line, generally people are not aware about it. Say for example, the operator who is working on a molding machine or a press shop, they are actually not aware about what actions have been taken. But if you look at the action plan, it is generally specified that communication has been given to them. Then in internal audit, one very important aspect is to see the documentation part. Like there is a requirement to have a procedure or a process for customer complaint. So whether that process is there, then based on the customer complaint, there are different type of documents that needs to be reviewed and analyzed, starting from drawings, process flow chart, DFMEA, PFMEA, control plan, work instructions, technical specifications, and all the related documents, that whether organization has gone through all those documents, has reviewed all those documents and taken action on that or not. So that is also one of the key aspects of internal audit to look into that. And then finally, management review. So this is being done by top management just to see that how effective is the customer complaint process. That is a key input in the management review, and whatever actions that have been taken, whether they are stable, whether they are working, and how is the customer feedback with respect to the customer complaint process. And if we ensure this entire process, then we can make sure that the customer remains happy. The employees also remain happy with respect to the entire process. Their morale will be high. The organization as well as the customer, they will have good understanding as well as relationship, that they both understand each other, and overall it will be good for the organization. So if I revise everything what I shared, I talk about acknowledgement of the customer complaint, then having a responsibility and authority team, then tracking about the customer complaint, then doing the root cause analysis, looking after the corrective action, correction and containment action, then later on closing the complaint, then looking into the type of documentation that organization is having, whether all the relevant documents have been reviewed or not, then verifying whether customer is satisfied with all the actions or the entire process of complaint process, then analyzing the data, that what are the different trends with respect to customer complaint process, internal audit process to verify that how much effective is the actions, and then finally the manual review to look into that process. Well, in case you want to go in more detail about this particular thing, you can click the below link and you will find a blog there, and you can get more information with respect to that. And in case you want to get these kind of videos regularly, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.